Good day, everyone. So, we are the first group who will be reporting for strategic management, and we will be discussing about the hospitality and tourism context, and then we will evaluate the characteristics of hospitality and tourism organizations. So, we will be then questioning how these characteristics may impact on strategic management practices in the hospitality and tourism organizations. And then we will be discussing next how generic strategic management models and theories can be best applied in hospitality and tourism concept. So, finally, we will be providing a brief review of the current status of strategic management literature in the hospitality and tourism field. So, strategic management itself is a wide scope. It can be for your school, for the studies, and then it can also be for businesses and then other such things such as lang yung mga ginagawa natin for our daily life. So, strategic management itself is strategies. How do you do this? How do you do that? What theories you will be using? Kung ano mga steps and practices yung makakainam sa mga bawat gagawin natin in simplest form in our everyday life. So, defining the hospitality and tourism context. First, under the services sector, the hospitality and tourism industry is often named as the #1 industry worldwide in terms of generation of income and employment. So, alam naman natin ding lahat yun, di ba? Pagpasok pa lang natin sa industry ito, tayo talaga yung pinaka-industry na malaki yung income, and tayo din yung industry na madami talagang empleyado kasi ang daming kailangan nung businesses natin ang daming kailangan tao nung businesses natin. So, over the last 3 decades, the hospitality and tourism industry has grown rapidly. And now it has become one of the most prominent sectors of the service industry. It produces over 11% of the world's gross domestic product and employs over 10% of the global workforce according to UNWTO of 2003. So, even with pandemic, tayo pinaka-apektado kasi nga tayo yung industry na talagang open sa tao. Tayo yung nagta-travel, tayo yung nag-check-in sa mga hotels, diba ganyan? Tayo yung sa food, tayo yung sa beverages, which is ngayon hindi talaga natin magawa. So, dun pala makikita mo na kung gaano kalaki yung impact ng hospitality and tourism sa business world, sa economic world. So now, although it is one of the largest industries in the world, providing a concise definition of the hospitality and tourism industry has been a major challenge for professionals and academics. As often acknowledged, there continues to be a lack of agreement as to exactly what hospitality and tourism encompasses and the relationship between them. So, even with all this stuff, syempre meron pa ding namang mga kailangan tayong intindihin in hospitality and tourism itself. Kailangan meron pa rin yung madidistinguish pa rin natin kung paano sila magkakaiba and kung ano yung mga similarities nila. According to Tangibility in 2007, he notes that hospitality organizations operate within a network of service organizations. To a large extent, they are interrelated and interdependent. It is including in the following. First, tour operators, travel agents, and tourism organizations. Travel and transport operators, leisure, recreation, and entertainment venue, restaurants, bars, clubs, and cafes, hotels, resorts, motels, camping grounds, bed and breakfast establishments, and then hostels. So, malaki yung mga organizations, as what I've said earlier. Malaki yung pinakasakop ng hospitality and tourism industry. But then we really have to identify kung ano yung similarities and then kung ano yung mga differences nila, which is very important in strategic management kasi hindi naman pwede na yung strategies natin for the hospitality is yun din yung strategies natin for tourism kasi even with such similarities, they are different. They cater to different people, they cater to different reasons, and then they cater for different ages and groups of people, di ba? So now, in this book, to get a broader view and include all the different types and sizes of organizations in the field, we use the terms hospitality and tourism interchangeably. Thus, these terms encompasses travel, accommodations, food services, clubs, gaming, theme parks, attractions, entertainment, recreation, conventions, and non-profit tourism organizations such as national tourism offices, destination management, and then marketing offices. So, ganon kadami yung sangay and ganon kadami yung mga offices na Kumbaga yung mga departments, di ba, interdepartmental nga lagi ang hospitality and tourism eh. Ganun kadami yung mga departments na nagkikater just to accomplish the goal and to accomplish our hypothesis ng mga theories natin na ginagawa, how to do a business and how to make the business successful. So, ganun karami yung strategies, yung ganun karami yung strategic management na pwedeng pagdaanan just to make the plan work and just to make the business prosperous. So, ganun. Marami siyang pagdadaanan na mga steps. And now, for the types of hospitality and tourism organizations. So, organizations that operate in the hospitality and tourism industry can be grouped under different categories, depending on their primary activities, size, profit motives, and geographical coverage. In terms of their primary services, organizations can be categorized as follows. So, the first is travel and transport, which is for the tourism industry, yung travel and transport. Air travel, land travel, sea travel. So, mayroong mga classifications yan and mayroong mga types of vehicle na sasakyan mo depending dun sa choice mo and depending dun sa layo ng destinations. First is accommodation. For the hospitality naman to, ito yung mga hotels, kung ano yung mga included services mo na i-avail, kung ano yung mga gusto mo, may kasama na bang rent ng car yan, may kasama na bang food yung i-avail mo na accommodation. And then the third one is food and beverage, which is also part of the hospitality, which is kung ano yung mga drinks and kung ano yung mga food na i-avail, kung ano yung mga gusto mong services about that, kung anong klaseng cuisine yung prefer mo. And then the fourth one is entertainment and then recreation. Entertainment and recreation also is part of this industry because it is one of the best attractions a place can have. Syempre kung ano yung maibibigay ng place na yon, hindi naman pwedeng pupunta tayo kunyari bibisita tayo ng Enchanted Kingdom or Star City and then wala naman pala silang rides. So, what is the purpose of that place, di ba? So, ganon. Kailangan, pagpunta natin sa certain location, meron tayong goal agad kung alin yung pupuntahan natin doon, kung ano yung makakapag-entertain sa atin doon, kung ano yung ma-experience natin doon na hindi natin nagagawa sa mga places na usually natin pinupuntahan. And then the fifth one is tourism offices or destination management organizations. This one, ito naman yung mga pwede nating bisitahin in such places na mga type of organization siya na nagko-cover dun sa kung ano yung mga places na pwede nating puntahan, mga attraction sites, mga ganon. So, it is part of the tourism industry kasi rin, dito nga magmamatter kung ano yung mga places na prefer natin and kung ano yung places na pupuntahan natin. The sixth one is non-governmental tourism organizations. So, non-governmental tourism organizations, ito yung mga solely lang na nag-cater sa tourism organizations. Para lang siya talaga sa turismo, hindi siya part ng government and hindi siya under ng government, local government ng unit na pupuntahan mong place. And then, each of this is often identified as a subsector under the hospitality and tourism industry. In addition, it can be further broken into several subgroupings. For example, under accommodations, there are hotels, motels, guest houses, hostels, villas, and timeshares, and even a lot more na mga naglalabasan na din ngayon. Ito nga yung sinasabi ko kanina na accommodation is a wide range na part ng hospitality and it also identifies kung ano yung klase ng tour na gusto mo. Another classification of hospitality and tourism organizations can be made according to a profit motive. A high majority of hospitality and tourism organizations aim to make a profit and achieve some financial objectives in order to satisfy their owners and shareholders. On the other hand, non-governmental tourism organizations, associations, tourism destination management, and marketing organizations can be placed under non-profit tourism organization. So, eto nga, yung profit motive. Kasi nga, tourism and hospitality is one of the highest grossers ng mga sa industry eh. Ito nga yung isa sa pinakamalaki, which is another one is also technology industry, di ba? Pero kasi yung sa atin, sobrang laki talaga sobrang laki ng income profit, sobrang laki ng revenue na pumapasok. Kasi nga, simpleng pag-alis mo lang ng town mo is already a tourism part eh. ganun na siya agad ka ma-identify. And simpleng pagkain mo lang sa resto, hospitality agad yun. So, malaki yung sakop, malaki yung scope ng pinaka-industry. Now, finally, hospitality and tourism organizations can be further grouped based on their geographical coverage. This include the local, regional, and global firms. So, local organizations operate in only one city or country, whereas regional organizations operate in one geographical region such as Europe, Middle East, North America, or Asia. So, ito nga yung geographical coverage. Geographical coverage itself is kung saan. For example, sa Nueva Ecija, magtutour ka sa Nueva Ecija. Yun. Geographical coverage mo yung pinaka Nueva Ecija. Magtutour ka sa Region 1. Geographical coverage yung Region 1. Same lang din yan kung magtutour ka for Asia, Europe, Middle East, North America, South, or wherever you want to go. As just stated, there can be major differences among hospitality and tourism organizations in terms of their primary activities, size, profit motives, and geographical coverage. These differences can have important implications on the application of strategic management theories and models that are in practice. In addition, one may further claim that because of these differences, we should be cautious about making generalizations about hospitality and tourism organizations. So, just what I've said earlier, malaki yung sakop ng industry, which results na mahirap mag-strategize. Mahirap gumawa ng hypothesis and theories na abrupt. You really have to make time, you really have to be patient kasi hindi naman siya isang steps lang eh. You can really have all these options, you can really have all the theories, pero hindi mo pa rin make sure, hindi ka pa rin sure na mag-work yun. So, you really have to have another option, another choices na parang pag nag-fail yung first plan, kailangan meron kang second plan. Which is yun naman din yung itinuturo sa atin even before nung first year pa lang tayo, junior pa lang tayo, sinuturo na sa atin na hindi pwedeng pag nag-tourism plan ka, hindi pwedeng nag-hospitality plan ka. Kung ano yung first plan mo, that's just it. It is a cycle of work. Wala siyang katapusang work kasi just because it works now means it will work forever. Just like in strategic management, pagka nasa loob ka ng business, hindi pwedeng pag nagpamigay ka ng ballpen at tumaas yung revenue, tumaas yung income ng business, magpapamigay ka ng ballpen for 5 years. That won't work. Kailangan iba-iba yung strategy mo. Kailangan sasabay ka sa trends, current events, at syempre titingnan mo yung competitors mo. You really have to look after them eh. Hindi naman pwede na porket ikaw yung nasa top ngayon, you will be the top for a long time. In a month, pwedeng makuha yan. In 5 years, pwedeng hindi ka nakilala yung business mo. So, kailangan meron kang continuous work on how to better yourself and how to better your business and to how to offer a better service for your consumers.
Good morning everyone, my name is Gisela Lane P. Ibanez from Group 1 and I will be discussing the characteristic of hospitality and tourism organization and the impact of this unique characteristic on managing HT organization. Characteristic of hospitality and tourism organization. Essentially, service sector organization including the HT organizations possesses certain unique features. Ignoring the differences between service organization and manufacturing organizations can lead to unexpected outcomes. So, the following are some closely related unique characteristics of organizations. The first one is the inseparability. So, inseparability in HT organization, customers need to present and participate in the delivery process. So, this means that the tourist and the service provider must come together for the service to take place. So, this is certainly not common in manufacturing industry. So, ang ibig sabihin lang nito, yung separation of the product and yung marketing function, which are important characteristic of traditional manufacturing industry, ay hindi posible sa isang service delivery process na nakikita sa isang HT organization. So, therefore, sa HT organization, ay kailangan yung i-communicate at i-motivate si customer to actively participate in the service of delivery process. So, para ma-achieve para ma-achieve yun, kailangan ng isang extensive track training that may be required. So, it also consider the multiple customers that are using the product at the same time and can influence each other's experience. So, for example, as isang restaurant, may isang grupo ng tao na may ingay at naapektuhan yung experience ng ibang tao or isang couple sa kabilang table na gusto ng quiet meal together. So, the second one is the simultaneity. So, a typical manufactured goods such as refrigerator or a television can be inspected before it is delivered to retail outlets or where they are then sold to the customer. So, ito yung pagdo-double check, pag-inspect sa isang product before dalhin kay customer. However, yung services in HT organization are created and consumed simultaneously or sabay-sabay para ma-prevent or para maiwasan ng employing active quality control mechanism. So, tulad nga ng mga nabanggit, si customer at si employee ay kailangan makiparticipate at coordinate sa isang service delivery process. So, it is impossible na magkaroon ng manager sa bawat empleyado upang subaybayan yung process ng service delivery at para matiyak na yung mga frontline employees ginagawa nila yung mga trabaho nila ng maayos to guide the customer in participation process. So, the third one is the Fetish Ability. So, as production and consumption in HT organization are simultaneous, services become perishable if they are not sold. Subsequently, their value is lost forever. So, yung mga product at pag-consume ng HT organization is dapat sabay-sabay dahil nagiging perishable siya or nasisira siya. So, ito is available lang siya in that time or in that specific date. Dahil may ibang guest rin na mag-check-in sa hotel na pwedeng makuha yung room na yun, kaya siya nagiging perishable. So, another example, sa isang airline industry, once na nag-depart na ang isang eroplano, yung mga upuan na available sa isang flight ay hindi na pwedeng i-sale or ibenta sa ibang araw. Therefore, yung full utilization of service capacity is a strategic task for HT organization. So, particular important siya to emphasize the demand for an HT organization services that often fluctuate considerably depending on the external development and changes tulad nga ng seasonality and crisis. For instance, terrorist attack, natural phenomena or weather, disease outbreak, etc. So, dahil nga si HT organization is hindi siya nagbebenta ng services when such circumstances arise, they lose the considerable amount of non-recoverable income. So, when the demand is low or there are sudden fluctuations in demand, it is neither easy nor recommended for HT organization to lower their rates greatly since maraming maapektuhan at maapektuhan gayon din yung mga customer segments at yung mga regular customers. The fourth one is the tangibility. So, hospitality and tourism offer a combination of tangible and intangible product. So, for example, a hotel room or meal sa isang resto na parehas na may tangible at intangible qualities. So again, there are maybe major differences between sa budget hotel, luxury hotel, or between fast food restaurant and an upscale restaurant in terms of intangible at tangible qualities na ino-offer. So, si service are often ideas, concept, interaction, relations, and experience. So, intangible aspects are critical in customer satisfaction. So, it is essential that the intangible aspect of services offered by each organization are critical in customer satisfaction. Dahil nga, the main difficulty related to the intangibility of services is that si customer ay hindi niya nakikita, nararamdaman, or natetest yung mga services when they buy or order. So, prior to their purchase, ine-evaluate nila yung mga services by looking sa interior of the hotel or restaurants at yung mga appearance or behavior of an employee. So, in most cases, si customer is nagre-rely siya sa image or goodwill of HT organization. So, in order to overcome yung mga potential problem at dissatisfaction in this area, some HT companies publicize their service promises and offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. The next one is the heterogeneity. So, services provided by HT organization may also vary considerably. So, one hotel unit in a chain hotel, one unit in a restaurant chain, or one holiday experience of a traveler to the same destination is unlikely to be identical to another. So, sa madaling salita, yung mga services will be heterogeneous and yung mga variation in services delivery from customer to customer and from time to time will always occur. So, it is often difficult to standardize every employee-customer interaction in HT business. So, sa karamihan ng HT organization, yung customer interact ay hindi lang sa employee but also sa ibang customer. So this is customer to customer interaction ay isang certain service organization tulad sa pubs, discos, nightclubs, and cruises that can be important aspect of the total service delivery process. So, sa HT organization ay highly susceptible to external changes. For one example of an external factor is the weather. For example, bibisit ka sa isang theme park na sobrang ganda, sobrang pleasant, sobrang entertaining on a nice day, but it can be miserable experience if it's raining and cold. Cost structure. The cost structure in HT firms influences their managerial and resource allocation decision. For example, sa isang luxury HT organization na may capital, labor, and energy extensive. So, typically, meron silang high property cost and also kaya nilang mag-employ ng large number of full-time employees. So, may hirapan sila to reduce such cost item even yung demand is low. So, in addition, pwede silang mag-renovate ng mga facilities in every 5 years and 10 years para mag-stay competitive in their field. So, another issue naman, yung mga vast amount of investment that made in this organization, yung mga investors at owners that often look very carefully sa kanilang ROI or yung return on investment. So, therefore, yung mga companies kailangan nilang i-maintain yung steady flow ng isang customer para ma-maintain din yung profitability ng kanilang business. So, nagli-lead to para maka-create ng marketing and product development strategies as well yung mga pricing strategies. So, sa madaling salita, si cost structure ay isa siyang aggregate of the various type ng cost, fixed at yung mga variable para mag-make up yung business sa overall expenses. So, yung mga companies ginagamit si cost structure to set pricing at identify areas where expenses can be reduced. And the last one is the labor intensive. So, installing machines and computers on a car factories, assembly line, or in an ice cream factory can reduce the number of employees. So, for example, sa isang bread company, karamihan sa bread company is puro machinery na yung mga ginagamit nila. So sa pag-install ng machine, ay nare-reduce yung mga number of employees as well as yung pagpapasweldo din nila sa mga employees na yon. However, compared sa ibang organization in other industries, si HT organization ay nangingibabaw dahil nagre-require siya ng great many employees. So, to put it simply, si HT organization are labor intensive. So, dahil sa personal interaction experience ay important part ng services and employees plays a key role in this process. So, kahit na marami nang gumagamit ng machines, computers, at technological development, si HT organization ay nananatili pa rin na mag-rely sa primarily on their employees to deliver a memorable and positive experience. Being served and treated nicely by employees is a major factor in getting repeat customers. The impact of this unique characteristic on managing HT organization. So, yung mga nabanggit ko kanina, yun yung mga unique characteristic ni HT organization. So, we examined several unique characteristic of HT organization. It should be noted yung mga given differences in this industry in terms to their size, service type, profit profit motive, and customer segment. Tsaka yung level and importance of this characteristic may be different. So, for example, intangible aspect of service in a fast food restaurant is maybe more apparent compared to eating in a expensive restaurant. Yung cost structure of small budget hotel is certainly different from the cost structure of a five-star hotel. So, sa ang situation ba si strategic management help HT organization? So, a good strategy help the organization in achieving unrivaled growth at ma-enhance yung mga sales, profitable, and market leadership in a long run. So, si strategic management ay siya yung nag-a-assist in decision making that will enhance the achievement of a long-term objectives. So, ang pinakatumatak na unique characteristic ni HT organization para sa akin as a tourism student is si Fetish Ability. Dahil si Fetish Ability ay one of the most important characteristic of tourism industry dahil yung product or yung services in the tourism and travel industry are consumed as they produce.
Hello everyone, I'm Raquel Morales. I'm going to discuss the areas where the industry characteristic impact on managing hospitality and tourism firms. So the first one is analyze the internal and external environment as an ongoing process. So i-analyze niya kung ano yung external and internal environment sa habang nag-ongoing yung process ng firm. In which, when we say internal environment, nagre-refer siya sa inlying force and condition present with the company which can affect the company's working. While the external environment naman is a set of exogenous forces that have the potential to affect the organization performance, profitability, and functionality. The next one is making decision in the area of service, delivery, pricing, and marketing. And which na alam natin kung saan sector ba natin is service delivery, kung ano ba yung price nun, and yung marketing. Then the next one is strategic planning practices in which when we say strategic planning, inaalam na nila yung goals and objective na isang organization, and your organization leader, dinedetermine niya na kung ano ba yung vision for the future. While the next one is developing a sustainable competitive advantage, in which pag sinabi natin na sustainable competitive advantage, meron siyang 3 in which is cost advantage, value advantage, and focus advantage. Pag sinabi natin cost advantage, ito yung business is kinukumpit niya na yung price, and when we say value advantage naman is yung business naman nagpro-provide na ng differentiated offering that is perceived to be a superior value. While the focus advantage is nag-focus sila sa specific market niche with tailored offering designed specifically for the segment of the market. While the next one is achieving and evaluating intended outcomes. So when we say outcome evaluation, the method we determine how well a program achieved its objectives by measuring the result, or tinitignan na natin kung ano ba yung nagiging resulta nung ginagawa nating hospitality and tourism firm. Next one is managing capacity to maximize revenue. So, my example nun is ina-assess niya and reduce operating costs, and nakapasok din yung upsell, cross-sell, and resell. Tapos yung mga pagsiset ng lowered your overhead and nagre-refine din ng mga demand forecast. Then the next one is managing cost structure of the company. When we say cost structure of a company or a business, it is the aggregated of the various type of costs, fixed and variable, that make up business overall expenses. Yung companies kasi, ginagamit niya yung cost structure para mag-set ng pricing and para ma-identify yung areas where expenses can be reduced. So the next one is allocating available financial and human resources for the future strategies. So pag sinabi natin allocate resources on a project. So, para ma-allocate natin yung resources sa isang project, kailangan natin alamin yung scope bago tayo mag-allocate ng resources para man-manage natin yon. Kailangan natin i-identify yung resources, tapos kailangan natin i-track yung time. Then, the next one is evaluating and improving the service delivery process. So, doon, pumapasok na naman na yung pag-i-improve ng service delivery process. Kung paano mo ba siya i-improve, kung paano mo mas papalawakin yung service delivery process nyo. Then, the next one is interacting and satisfying customer. So, dito pumapasok kung paano ka makikipag-interact sa customer mo, kung paano mo siya masasatisfy. Lalo na tayo, pag nandito tayo sa hospitality and tourism, in which common sa atin yung pakikipag-interact sa mga customer or sa mga guests. Training, developing, and motivating employees and managers, in which train natin yung mga bago employees natin, while minamotivate naman natin yung mga employees natin and managers para mag-work hard, in which isa sa ginagawa nila para ma-motivate yung employees is binibigyan sila ng reward pagka magaling sila. Then, the next one is designing and decorating facilities. Dito naman is yung pagde-design mo na ng facilities or kung ano ba yung decoration na gusto mo. When a customer spend fast food restaurant is much shorter than when he or she enjoys a 4-course meal in upscale restaurants. Interaction between customer and employees and among customer on a cruise ship in a 5-star hotel or a nightclubs will be very different from the interaction in a budget hotel or McDonald's. So, sinasabi na yung customer daw, mas nag-i-spend siya sa restaurant kasi sa mga fast food. Kasi iba daw yung tingin ng isang customer pag nasa mas mamahalin silang restaurant or kesa nasa fast food sila. So, sino ba namang hindi, diba? Like us, pagka nagpupunta tayo sa mga restaurants, mas nag-i-spend tayo ng mas matagal na time doon kesa pag nasa fast food tayo. Kasi mas ini-enjoy natin yung lugar, yung pagkain. The case for strategic management in hospitality and tourism organization. So, despite its size and growing importance, marami pa din face na major challenges yung tourism and hospitality industry, in which nag-involve yun ng macro trends such as legislation, regional and global economic and political crisis, social-cultural trends, sophistication of customer, stiff competition, terrorism, security, global warming, multiculturalism, globalization, merge and acquisition, labor shortage, and advanced technological development. All pose yung important challenges to the management strategies ng hospitality and tourism organization. So, for example, nung nangyayaring crisis na tourism and hospitality industry is yung sa Delta Airlines, in which one of the most successful Six Flags team Park have both been facing serious problem in recent year due to bad investment and managerial decision. It is known that the ratio of business is failure among small and medium size of hospitality and tourism organization as high. Applying strategic management principle and theories can certainly be helpful not only in overcoming failures in decision making and resource allocation, but also turning the organization around and making it successful. So, yung Delta Airline kasi na naka-experience siya ng problems due sa bad investment nila and managerial decision. So, makakatulong yung strategic management sa hospitality and tourism organization para ma-turn yung tables or turn the tables para yung organization na yun is para maging successful ulit. So, isa pang example is now, during COVID, madaming hospitality and tourism organization yung nagsara. Even yung Philippine Airlines, nag-file sila ng bankruptcy in which yung strategic management, it can help yung tourism and hospitality industry. So, sinasabi na it's all worth emphasizing the strategic management is not only important to hospitality and tourism organization, pero yung organization, regardless kung ano ba yung size niya, kung ano ba yung type niya, kung restaurant ba siya, kung hotel, o kung airlines, we should be stressed that hospitality and tourism organization is operate in a unique external and internal context, which make it especially important para ma-understand yung mga following contemporary strategic management practices and theories, which is decision in terms of their future intentions and resources allocation. Kapag yung hospitality and tourism organization is naging successfully prepare para sa future nila, then magkakaroon siya ng bagong development in which hindi siya malulugi or hindi siya babagsak kasi nagkamali siya sa pag-i-invest sa maling management o kaya mali yung pagmamanage dun sa organization na yun. So, areas where strategic management can help hospitality and tourism organization, in which like what I said kanina, nagka-problema in Delta Airlines sa management and sa pag-invest, yung strategic management yung tumulong sa kanila, in which yung mga way para matulungan yung hospitality and tourism organization is providing a holistic view for the entire hospitality and tourism organization. Pag sinabi natin holistic view, it's not just healthcare that focuses on the health of the entire body and mind, or not just part of the body. So, hindi lang yung health ng tao yung tinitignan niya, but also the mind, which is the mental health. Then, the next one is providing sharper focus on why strategic is important. So, inaalam nila or nagpo-focus sila kung bakit nga ba talaga strategically important. Then, the next one is providing a link between external environment and internal environment. So, inaalam nila kung may problema ba sa external and internal environment. Like what I said, internal environment refers sa mga forces ng condition na pinapresent sa company, which nakaka-affect yung company's working. While yung external environment naman, exogenous forces na nakaka-affect sa organization, sa performance ng mga employees, and sa profitability and functionality. Then, the next one is analyzing a complex and rapidly changing external environment. So, dito po mapasok yung ina-identified natin yung kung ano ba yung mga latest trends, kung ano bang magandang ideas sa market, in which ina-assess natin yung mga market share, ina-analyze natin yung mga competitive environment. Then, the next one is analyzing an organization's strategic resources, in which pag sinabi nating resources analysis and strategic management is dinedetermine natin yung quantity ng location of resources needed to produce. Then, the next one is giving a clear sense of strategic vision and direct. So, ina-identify niya kung ano ba yung strategic vision and direction ng isang company. Then, the next one is defining organizational purpose, in which inaalam niya kung ano ba yung purpose ng organization. Then, the next one, developing measurable goals and objectives. So, magde-develop ka na ng goals and objectives ng isa. Then, the next one is identify mo na yung key resources and investigating in the core competencies. Then, magpo-formulate ka na ng decisions and making them happen. So, the next one is managing change. So, papalitan mo na yung management, in which, katulad nga na nagkaroon ng problema sa Delta Airline, So, management yung problem nun. So, kailangan palitan natin yung management. Then, the next one is coordinating organization activity and allocating resources. Then, after that, kailangan mo nang i-understand yung complex of decision making and structuring of an organization. Kailangan mo ding maintindihan kung ano ba yung role na and importance ng organizational structure, culture, and a strategic process, which is the next one is kailangan nating i-reduce yung managing uncertainty inside the organization. Then the last one is i-measure yung intended and unintended outcomes of strategy process. So overall, yun yung mga areas in which strategic management helps tourism and hospitality organization. Applying strategic management and the hospitality and tourism context. So, in this section, we will examine how such theories and models can be applied in the particular context of hospitality and tourism. Most of strategic management tools, yung mga models, techniques, and theories have been traditionally been developed mainly for manufacturing sector in United States and have subsequently been applied to other industrial sector. So, sabi ni McGahan and Porter no 1997, claim nila na yung industry ng context is nagmamatter dahil daw yung direct or indirect impact ng strategy making is nagpo-process siya on the productivity and profitability ng isang organization. Given yung conflict ng views whenever yung industry context or that the individual firm is more important when devising a strategic plan, nag-propose sila ng different but more holistic view on this controversial issue. In support kay McGahan and Porter no 1997, naniniwala sila na yung industry structure daw is unique characteristic ng hospitality and tourism sector, which matter and they can have clear impact on the strategy making process and the productivity and profitability ng isang hospitality and tourism organization. In short, yung context ng both industry and organization level is crucial if one of is to effectively use and apply strategic management, theories, and models in hospitality and tourism organization. So, yung importance of context strategy making means that preceding the argument holds across industrial sector and not just hospitality and tourism. So, yung important context na strategy making means na nagpo-proceed tayo sa argument hold across all industrial sector and not just hospitality and tourism. Lahat ng issue na related sa strategy process and strategic context must always be framed in that specific context, in which, in other words, we cannot meaningfully separate strategy from its industrial context or from its international organizational context. So, ma-analyze natin at ma-evaluate yung context ng industrial level sa Chapter 3 and yung organizational level naman sa Chapter 4. Strategy research in the hospitality and tourism field. Towards the end of 1980s, yung empirical work was more evident with the focus being mainly on environmental scanning, strategy, and structure alignment. While the international context has attracted a considerable volume of attention, although most research in these areas are largely being described in nature with more limited amount of activity direct toward theoretical development. When we say theoretical development in which a collection of theories about how desired change in society is best achieved. In summary, the strategic management research in the hospitality and tourism context contains a commendable emphasis on industry application, but no notable theory contributes have been made to the mainstream strategic management field. One reasons for this is the strategic management did not appear on hospitality and tourism syllabi until the 1980s, and this is itself would account for the gap in mainstream interested. So finally, limitation of previous research are not unique to the strategic management and hospitality and tourism organization. Sabi ni Olsen noong 2001 and ni Whaler noong 2001 is nag-discuss nila how literature and scholarly activities in hospitality and tourism field are somehow limited and mainly conceptual. So therefore, similar comments can perhaps be made for the literature in other areas such as marketing, human resources, operating management, and financial management in hospitality and tourism field. Overall, our report is about provide a brief review of current level of strategy literature in the hospitality and tourism field and illustrate its limitations. A number of conclusion and summary point can be provided in recognition of the unique characteristic and provide us with necessarily insight and understanding of challenges in applying strategic management in the specific context of hospitality and tourism. The characteristic and the type of hospitality organization can impact on strategic management practices, particularly in strategic analysis, decision-making, resources allocation, and creating a maintainingly competitive advantage. Strategic management theories, models, framework developing in genetic field can be used and applied within hospitality and tourism context. And lastly, is to do all of the preceding, we must have a good understanding of the industry characteristic and the internal features and managerial practices of hospitality and tourism organization. That's all. Thank you for listening.